Hey vlog, this is Eric Normand. I run a company called PF.tv where I teach closure mostly in video and written form. And this is my vlog where I just kind of journal what I'm working on, what I'm thinking about, and just keep everybody up to date on what's going on. So today I decided to give you a tour of my office and studio. It's just one room here in my house. It's a home office. And I built it back in August 2017. I was out in the other room, in the living room, kind of in the open area. And I didn't have a door, and it was kind of tough to get anything recorded, and I didn't really feel like I had my own space. So I got them to install a wall right here, and now I have my own space, and it's really nice. And for a couple months I would forget to close the door because I didn't have a door for so long, but now I close it all the time, and it's so quiet when I close the door. It's very nice. Okay, so last time I talked about how since I'm staying in New Orleans, I feel like building this out a little more. So I want to give you a before so that you can see the difference. All right, so I'll just start over here. Let me switch. Oh, I can't switch it. Never mind. So this is my door right here. It's not very well painted, but boom, I can close it. I have a bunch of tchotchkes up here. Usually, there are things that I like that don't really go any particular place, don't serve much purpose except decoration. But I put them in the background so that when my computer the camera is on, I'm doing a Skype call or something, there's something in the background instead of just a brick wall. I don't know if that helps or anything. A few months ago, I put in all this conditioning on the wall. It's just foam, and it's at my height, so whenever I talk, the echo doesn't get too bad in here. Now I do have hardwood floors, as you can see down here, and a high ceiling, so those are two other audio problems. And you might even be able to hear there's a bit of echo still, even with the treatment on the walls. One thing I could do is get a carpet, and that would absorb some of the echo, some of the sound as it bounces. So, what happens is the sound bounces off of parallel walls back and forth, and that's what creates the echo. And so you want to deaden that as much, that bouncing back and forth as much as possible. So that's why you have the wall here and then the wall there. Those are the two parallel walls. And then the ceiling and the floor are going to bounce stuff back and forth. So anything I could do there. I thought about like going up there and putting some treatment on the ceiling, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I might do it one day. I have some more of these panels left over. Okay, there's my bookshelf. It's full. I sometimes manage to squeeze a new book in there. I need a new solution for this because at some point it's just going to explode with books. It's like a cheap thing from Walmart or something. It even sags. I don't know if you can see that. It sags under the weight of books. I got an Eero back in, can you see that? I got an Eero back in December, trying to think of stuff that would be helpful to spend last year's tax money on. So before I just had an old Linksys router, a standard little thing. And it wouldn't reach all the way to the back. So there were dead spots in the further reaches of the house, and then certainly outside. Like you could get a signal, but it wasn't very good. And I decided that I used that dead spot enough. Like I want to use it enough. Like I would notice that I would be like watching a YouTube video or something, and I'd put my phone down in that dead spot, just not thinking about it. And then it would cut over to wireless to the cell connection, and I wouldn't notice, and that uses a lot of data, especially when I'm assuming that I've got Wi-Fi because I'm in the house. So another thing is I like to go in the backyard and work, and I would have really bad connection there. It would be spotty. So this is, it's expensive, but the Linksys thing was cutting out a lot. I would have to reset it. It's getting like, I guess, the end of life. They just don't last that long. And the Eero was a little expensive, but now it's got repeaters all through the house. Just 2 repeaters. And I can go in the backyard, and there's no dead spots in the kitchen. So it kind of fulfills the promise that it had of like never think about Wi-Fi again. Like it's just kind of done now, which is nice. And it was worth the I guess it was like $300. It's worth it. Yeah, I'm a very frugal kind of person, so that kind of purchase I don't do lightly. Like for inspiration, I've been looking at other people's home offices and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, you have like a graveyard of dead computers. I have not owned like one of your shelves of computers is like more than I've ever owned. I don't understand how people spend so much money on these things. Okay, so here is my chest of drawers. This actually has clothes in it because we don't have enough closet and drawer space in the bedroom. So this is where the stuff goes, and I don't mind. It just takes up a little room in my home office. I got a printer on there for printing code out. I've got my whiteboard back here. I should have set up the studio a little better, but what I do is I push it all the lighting and stuff. Let me back up. I push the lighting and the camera back against the whiteboard when I'm not recording because there's a bunch of wires and those legs can make you trip. So I push them all there when I'm not recording. Then I just pull them back and they lift up a little more. They extend here. So when I extend them, I can easily... So yeah, they extend right here. So they go up to that height right there. And so the light is a little bit more natural looking. And this setup of the one in the corner up here at the top, and then the one in the corner at the bottom, that's so that I'm not casting a shadow onto the whiteboard, so it's always legible. And it works really well, I think. The biggest problem is you can see a little glare up at the top of the whiteboard and in the corners. So it's not quite in the corner up here when it's on. It's not quite as visible, whatever I write up there. But it's not a big deal. It doesn't detract from the video. I would like to find a solution for it, but I don't know. So one idea I've had is, so they usually go about where I'm standing, the camera and the lights, one light here, one light here. And I was thinking, why not put the lights on the ceiling? Like hang them down, because they're high. They're that high, right? So why not hang them down so that they don't have anything to trip on or anything. And then they can always be in place. So that's an option. I don't know exactly how I would do that. I don't know like where the boards are, the studs are up here. So I don't know where I could place them because they kind of have to be in the right place. But that would be cool. I think it would get them out of the way, and it would just make it easier to record every time. And if I could do it to the camera, like pull it down, like that would be awesome. Okay, we'll see about that. I'm gonna try to do this more selfie style so you can see. So this is my little table here in the corner. It is still a mess from Closure Sync, meaning I just put stuff here just to get it out of the way while I was working, and I still haven't gone through all this. So this right here is a box of t-shirts that I had for the conference. Here's the last t-shirt that didn't get picked up. And then of course there are the lanyards that I got. So I've emailed them. They haven't emailed me back about if I should send them to them or whatever. So they were just waiting for that email. I was about to send them, but they don't want them. I don't know. And then there's a bunch of other stuff from the conference that we just threw in a box, and I put it here. So that I need to go through. Here's a book that doesn't fit on the shelf anymore. It's actually a really good book. It's called The Society of Mind. It's kind of it's AI, like how do we think as people? Like what would a mind look like that we created? It's a cool book. A script that I printed out. Wow, this was back in September, and I just don't know what to do with it. Can you see? It's just like this huge pile of papers. Some receipts and stuff that I haven't processed yet. It's basically like junk right now because I'm still getting organized after Clojure Sync. There's still a ton of stuff that I've been doing. And, there's other stuff has happened since Clojure Sync. So, like, it just gets worse and worse every time. All right, so this is my standing desk. A few years ago, I switched to a standing desk only. Like, notice it doesn't have a chair. I used to sit on that exercise ball on this desk, and that worked out pretty well. But then it started to deflate, and I just decided I would try something else. So this is it's just what is it called? It's an IKEA like end table, and these screw on right here, and then I put on some shelves. Here, this moves. Hang on a second. So this is a shelf from IKEA, and you can see that it's just like one of these shelf angle brackets. It's wooden. It's taped on because this is hollow. I learned that too late, right? This is hollow. It doesn't really show you that in the picture. So a screw won't help. Like I did have it screwed in and it just broke right off when you put weight on it. So I have it duct taped and that's pretty strong. And it moves. I don't know. I guess I was kind of thinking like maybe one day I'd I wouldn't like to screw it on at first because I might want to adjust it or something, and then I just never screwed it on. So it's okay. It's just right there. Yeah. So I've put like little attachments on my desk because this thing costs like $20, like the whole setup. So I bought it as a way of, something I could screw into and glue onto. It's definitely a mess right now. I try to keep it clear, but I need to sit down and work through this. I take lots of notes. This one is about REPL-driven development, CSV file. How does the REPL work? Yeah, I think that this was notes from somebody's customer personalized training plan that I had a call with them and I just took some notes and now I've got them here. I need to do something with them. That's one of the things that I'm working on. It's part of my office thing is we'll get to that. Okay, so I have a USB hub here. Got my mouse plugged in. I've got a hard drive right here. That is my backup. So my what is that called? The time machine backup. I've got a bigger hard drive right here. That's like where I store all my video as I record it. That's USB. I didn't show you, but over here I've got this one, which is it's two terabyte drives that are that are mirrored. So this is on the network. So it's not as fast as USB, but it's fast enough for like longer term storage. If I'm not working on something, I can move it to there. What else do I have? So I have this monitor here that's connected to my laptop, and I don't know why we do this thing now where we're all working on laptops even when we're at a desk, because It's laptops are more expensive. The battery is a significant expense, and yeah, I've got this picture up here that my wife gave me. I put it over there because I don't think it's very appropriate to have in the background of videos, and I shouldn't even be showing you. It's got a little nudity in it. That's all. It's just not a professional thing to show around. Oh man, I got a new credit card that's just sitting there. I've got a binder, a bunch of stuff that I need to go through. I've got a ton of things that needs to happen. Okay, so this computer, I talk about not owning a lot of computers. This one was bought for me by a company that I worked for, and along with this monitor, and the company went under, and they just said keep the computer. Like, we're not going to try to sell it and make a little money on it. So that's what I've been using since 2013. And I haven't bought a new computer since. So it's been 5 years, and it still works okay. Like, maybe I could take the time and like reinstall the operating system from scratch and everything. That might actually make it faster. But I've been really thinking about getting a new computer, a desktop, and then using this as like a laptop when I travel. Yeah, that's a dream. I don't know if that'll happen. It's kind of an expensive dream. All right, finally, I've got this chest of drawers with a bunch of junk on top that I need to deal with. The drawers are not this. It's like a clothing drawer, except I just got stuff in it for my business. I decided to do something like this that I could close and that would look decent on the outside. But then I realized that you see how hard it is to open and close. I don't like that. And it just becomes a disorganized mess in each of these compartments. It's not big enough. It doesn't open wide enough to put like smaller boxes in that you could stack, so you get more organization in there. So this is the main thing I'm going to replace when I do my my little bit of renovation that I'm doing. I'm not going to do any modification of the room. I'm just putting shelves. All right, so this is my closet. I've got it open. I usually open it for recording. I don't know if if it helps, but just to have like another thing that's not parallel that could possibly soak up some echo. I have that right here. This is just regular clothes. I'll just show you. They're just shirts and pants and stuff. But in here, I have a little bit of storage for stuff that I keep for the business. So those are just clothes. But I've got my notebooks. I've got these pralines. I keep a stock of them for giving away as gifts when I go to conferences and stuff. When people come into town. I don't know. I just like the personal touch of like, hey, here's some personal New Orleans-y stuff. I got some stationery up here. So like cards, thank you notes, kind of stuff. Christmas cards for the Christmas time. I also like the personal touch of that. Some more stuff up here that's just junk. It's not even for the business. And yeah, here's another thing. This is my backpack, for a gear backpack for when I need to bring like AV equipment. So you see it's got a tripod. It's got a big pocket for wires and cameras and stuff like that. So whenever I go to the No Fun meetup, which is the meetup I run, I bring that backpack, set up a camera, record, do that kind of stuff. I used to use my regular bag, which is just like a messenger bag, but I started getting afraid of putting like hundreds of dollars of equipment into a big bag with no padding and no separate compartments. And so I got one of these bags. And the thing about it is, number one, the reason it's there on the ground and like still has stuff in it is because I don't have a place for that stuff that I like. So I just leave it there, and there's no room for the bag either. So it's kind of like takes up less space to just leave the stuff in there, and that's one of the things I want to have room for is like, where does this go? This has a place where it lives, and this chest of drawers does not cut it. It's just not going to cut it. So I'll just tell you quickly about my plans. I got 2 6-foot tall shelving units from Amazon. They're coming tomorrow. So 6 feet is about here, and so they're gonna go from here to somewhere around here if I put them side by side. And then I haven't bought these yet, but some plastic bins to put stuff in, because a lot of the stuff I use very rarely, although when I need it, I want to know where it is. But a lot of the stuff I'm going to keep in looser because I do use it a lot, and just have a place for it on the shelf. I got some hangers so I can hang stuff. It's like the wire, like metro style shelving, like you see in kitchens, in commercial kitchens. It's wire racks, and there's like a little rim on the bottom with wires too. So you can put S hooks, and I'll be putting S hooks in and hanging stuff. So I'll have a place to hang my bags. I'll put the printer in there. I'll move this chest of drawers, this little one, over there to the window where that chest of drawers is. And so then that'll be lower, and I'll get more light, just a little bit more light from that window. And I'll be able to, I don't know, put a plant or something on it so that I don't put anything else on top, because that's another habit I have, of putting stuff on top. I'm wondering about this. So I don't know exactly, you never know. I've measured it. The end of the shelf, if it is exactly 2 feet, there's 2 3-foot wide shelves. So it should be like right about here but it might not be. So this might end up being in the shelf, right? Like part of the shelf. I won't put shelves in this height, and this could like sit inside the shelf. I don't know. That seems like a pretty cool idea. But this needs to be exactly where it is. So I can't move it. It's just a matter of like fitting it in the right spot. It could be, that's another idea, is like hang it off the shelf instead of sitting on the ground on its feet. That could work. This one up here could easily be mounted on the wall or up on the ceiling hanging down, stably. You don't want something where it's swinging. But if it is mounted stably, you could do that. Right, and so this would just be a space for storage. I would want to keep it neat because it would be visible on my webcam up there. And this is, okay, I didn't mention this before. This is my microphone. You see I have it on a boom. And I don't have what's that called? A shock mount on it. So look, I'm not a gearhead. I sometimes wish I were, but I don't like shopping and trying this gear and trying that. I just want one thing that's going to work. And so this is an Audio Technica. Oh, it has some number. It's a USB mic. It's nothing fancy. It's a standard podcast mic. And I use this monitor from it with headphones, so I can hear when I can hear what's going on and not have the speakers from the monitor going into the mic. And this I use on podcasts when I do my own recording. It's a little hot, so I actually ordered a pop filter, because you got to talk into it real close, and then you start like making these sounds into it that get picked up, and they get exaggerated by the microphone because you're so close. It's just like if I'm talking to you, you can hear them, but you don't. Okay, I got cut off. So what I was saying was this microphone, I'm getting a pop filter. It's another little improvement. An audio engineer recommended one after listening to myself on a podcast. Right, so I use a wired mouse. I don't know why. That's my car key. I use a wired mouse. And of course, I'm doing measurements right now, so I have this out. I don't like to use a trackpad. And I've had this mouse for a long time. You can see the logo is like wearing off. Like I said, I'm frugal. I don't buy a lot of gear. This was probably $15 when I bought it 7 or 8 years ago. I did spend some money on this. This is a speaker. Sorry. It's not a speaker. It's a keyboard. It's a Bluetooth keyboard. And it's... the nice thing about this, the reason I like it, I needed a keyboard. So it wasn't like an expense that didn't make sense. But it has these three yellow buttons. Let you connect it to 3 different devices, so you can switch between them really easily. And for a long time, I was doing this thing where I would work on my computer with this keyboard, and then I would write on my phone with the keyboard, and maybe on an iPad with it. And that let me use the same keyboard everywhere and just be really efficient with it. And I could also throw it in a bag. The batteries last forever. The thing is, I dropped it. It's so silly. I dropped it a few months ago, where I was like, oh, maybe I'll be able to get some work done. I'll put it in my bag, and I dropped it on the way to putting it in my bag. And the space bar doesn't work reliably anymore. So you have to hit it a couple times sometimes. And, space bar, you use it all the time. So I bought another one. And, the batteries never run out on the first one, which I had for a couple years. So I guess that's the end of my tour. This chest of drawers is going away. I have some boxes in there that I need to go through, and most of that will go away. The reason I haven't gone through it is because I know it's mostly trash, but some of it's keepable. Like some of it's like, oh, sometimes I need an extra Ethernet cable, and I'm so glad I had it in that box. But I'm gonna try to put those on the shelves that are going right here in the future. You notice I haven't gone through all this stuff. You notice down here there's bags. These are the bags that these fit in. And when I moved into my office, it was actually in the living room over there, and I was using that closet. And I decided, no, I want to consolidate that into this room. But then, of course, I don't have the space for it, so they go under the table. They're not great under the table. They've got stuff in them. So having a place on the shelf to put them will be really good. Yeah, so this has been my home office tour, kind of a before shot. And I hope to do an after shot, or maybe even a during shot, so you can see some progress. Keep you up to date on it. All right, thank you so much. Subscribe, like, do all the things, press all the buttons. See you later. Bye.